Welcome guys, how's it going? Hello, hello. Thanks for joining me. How are we all doing? Let me know if the audio is too high or low or something. It's my first stream, so we can just adjust it on the fly. I thought what we'd do is maybe we would just talk a bit about talk web scraping for a bit maybe, and then I would either run through some demos or examples of stuff that I've done before, or we can scrape some other sites and see how it goes. Let's get our terminal up. I've been coding a lot in the Windows subsystem for Linux. I find it really useful actually. I find it quite cool. I used Linux for a little while before, but I had to switch back to Windows just because of some proprietary software I use for my main job. So I did that, but this the subsystem for Linux is pretty decent, so I'm pretty happy with it. Thanks for the kind words. I'm glad my tutorials are helping you out. It's always nice to know that the work that you're doing is appreciated by some people and helps you guys out a lot. Let's make a new file. Let's call it live stream.py. Cool, let's just make this a bit bigger. Nice. If we make that full screen, actually, put that there. There we go. So if you guys have got any questions whilst I'm doing this, go ahead and shout. But I'm just going to go ahead and start scraping this website, which I found earlier, which I thought was pretty cool. I had a look at some of the data on it already, and I'm not totally convinced that the actual data on here is correct, or I don't know. Anyway, so if we go to tracks and let's make that big so you guys can see. If we check out where was it? Nuremberg, the full, so we can see we've got lap times, we got the car, which is actually a link, which is cool, so we can get that, the driver and the time, and so 7:29.81. I think I'm pretty sure that the fastest lap of the Nuremberg is quicker than that now, but it doesn't matter. We're going to use this as a demo anyway. It's not a big deal. So the first thing that I always like to do when I am approaching some kind of scraping like this is obviously to view the source code. And you can get a good grip on it right away, and you can kind of see what information it's using. What backend it's been using. Stuck when it comes to dynamic websites, mostly OTT platforms like Hotstar. Okay. So for dynamic scraping, I always find that you have to run a browser of some description. So I tend to use you can use Pipeteer, but I haven't really got stuck into that yet, but you can use requests HTML and it will basically load the browser in the background for you. Is that a video streaming service? You see, those ones tend to be pretty difficult to get to, and you might actually have to run Selenium. What sort of what data are you trying to get out of it? Are you trying to get like video links or names or titles or something? If you I'm just going to carry on with this for a moment. If you just type up what information actually is you're after, we can have a look at it once I've started this a little bit and see where we can get to. Maybe I can make some suggestions. Oh, you want movie titles, and it's called Hotstar, right? Let's see what that is. Oh, okay, so it's a little bit like Netflix, I guess. Let's have a look. Let's take one thing I find is quite useful is Oh yeah, it's all dynamically loaded. Okay, let's take this bit of text and see where it appears in the source code. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I'll make this full screen whilst we're looking at this. Oh, not that big. So this looks like JSON data of some type. So we've got assets, offset next URL. Okay, that doesn't really have anything useful in there for us. Is there any other instance? No. Okay, that's cool. So we're probably going to want to have to render this, I guess, with Selenium, or maybe request HTML would work. What's in here? Okay. Info. I probably can't. Let's make this a bit bigger. Where are we? Excuse the background noise. I live in the town centre near a hospital, so there's always sirens going on. So it does give us the details. Okay, there's the title, which is cool, and the info. Okay, so it does have that there. Okay, that's cool. So that is available. So definitely, I think we could most likely use request HTML to get this data, because we could. Do they all have the same? Let's collapse these down. Yeah, there we go. Slick list. So that's a popular movies one. Is this the same one? Slide. Yeah. Okay. See, they're all. Is that on the? They're not actually loaded, or are they? Oh, they are. Yeah, I reckon this is possible. Tried Selenium, don't remember request HTML. Code runs fine, but you get no output. Okay. Okay, well this is probably a bit more of a tricky start than I was hoping for, but let's give it a go. I'm actually going to not use Vim in that case. I'm going to go straight for let's make a directory. Actually, no, let's go into my YouTube folder. Let's make a directory for live stream. CD into that, and then let's create a file, and we'll just call this hot star. That'll do, py, and then we'll use VS Code from here. Oh, I've got to update it. That's nice. It gives you nothing. It gives you an empty dictionary. Okay. All right, that's cool. Let's have a look. Let's close that down. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Python 3.2. That will do nicely. Okay, cool. I'll try and keep. I need to keep these two side by side so I can see what I'm doing. If this is too small for you guys to see, just give me a shout and I'll try and make it bigger. We can perhaps make this one a bit bigger on this side. There we go. So we're going to do from request HTML, we'll do session like that. Let's have our URL. We'll just try and get some of the data to start with, like that. And then let's do session is equal to HTML session. Like that. Okay, so now we're going to want to let's do session.get URL and r.html.render sleep equal to 1. Let's put keep page equal to true in there. I'm not sure we need to do that. Okay, cool. Let's collapse some of that, and let's try get my inspect tool back. Where's it gone? Inspect? No. Oh, there it is. So we're going to look for. We'll ignore that one to start with, and if this works, we get a proof of concept. We go this one here, popular shows, which is trade title, no, slider container. Okay, see how like it's all highlighted, so when you're trying to find stuff with like this, you just sort of go down with it, and we get to this bit here, which is these ones are all of the individual things. So it is div class. Okay, that's a nice long class name, but that should work. Do they all have the same one? No. So we can do slick slide, hopefully. All right, let's try that. We'll just remember what I'm doing. Let's call it video is equal to HTML.find. It's a div. And the class, I think we can just do like this. So if we print, it'll give us loads. So we'll just print out the very first one and see if we get an element returned. If we get an error, no. Oh, have I done the wrong thing? I'm importing the wrong thing, hang on. Oh, there we go. It's HTML session, not just session. That's why it won't work. Okay. Cool, so we've got an element back. So I only asked for, so what I've done is, came here to say thanks for the scraping short. No worries, man. Thanks, Marcel. I really appreciate that. All feedback is good feedback, so I'm glad you're enjoying it. Okay, so what we've done here is we're actually just rendering the page using Chromium, but in the background. And all it's doing is just loading this up for us and then giving us access to the elements. So each one of these is an element which we've found. So I've only printed out the very, very first element from the list. So if we get rid of the index there and we put the length instead, we should hopefully get back as all of these elements that we can have the video information in. So it's giving us 11. So with this div of slick slide, we're actually only getting 11 elements back. So it's not completely finding them all, because there you can see here there are many more than that. So I think these ones must be, yeah, here we go. These ones are, it says they're all hidden. So I wonder if that, because we're not moving through the page using the, is there a, how do you get to, oh, there it is. I wonder how you get to those ones. I wonder if we're going to struggle getting across to these because they're not going to be rendered on the main page. Love your videos. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Appreciate that a lot. So I'm going to have a quick look on something else actually, and I'm going to see if it's giving us the data in another way before we pursue down this avenue. I always find that browser rendering or Selenium should be your last approach, just because it's not really designed for that. Selenium is not designed for scraping really. It's for testing. Yeah, you have to move the slider. Yeah, I'm going to have to think about that one. Unless we find that all of the data is put in here for us somehow. Okay, so that gives us a load of, does give us some information. That's really annoying that that is put like that. All genre, crime, watch lists, language selection. Okay, that's no good. Landing page, no use to us. Oh, that's nice. Okay, so I think these ones might have something in. So it's got, oh, here we go. What's this? Channel name. Why Why is this wrapped around? I'm going to copy and paste this out. JSON parser formatter. Try this one. Cool. Super cool. Hi Neil, yeah, thanks mate. I thought I'd give this a go, see how it works. If it works out well and people like it, I can carry on. Yeah, understand the thinking. Yeah, I mean, like a lot of people, when you watch just polished videos, you kind of you think, oh yeah, you do that. No, I'm constantly Googling things just to remember how to do them, and it's so important that when you're doing this that you understand that you don't have to remember how to just do everything right away. You can just it's okay as long as you understand how the principle is or what your basic idea is. You can just look up how to do the actual tiny bits of the syntax. Yes. Are the sites you're using for your videos made for you, or are they just random ass website? Yeah, they're literally, I just pick them. Either people suggest them to me sometimes, or I find one that I like, or I find something. I mean, I'm going to be honest, sometimes I want to show a concept and I find a website that demonstrates that concept. So yeah, it's probably, I mean, it's a bit of a grey area, I suppose, web scraping, but I mean, if the data's all publicly available, then I guess why not? Yeah, something about robots.txt and how to follow them. Basically, if you look at the robot.txt file, it'll tell you what they disallow. So if we go to, we might even be able to use this website. It might have one. Yeah, so look here, you can see it says any user agent, which is fine, and it's telling the bots that they can't go to these URLs, but it's not saying anything else. So in this instance, if we don't try and scrape data from / because you watched, then I think it's fine. Yeah. You're not going to get all your. You're not going to go to robots.txt and it's going to tell you absolutely fine, carry on scraping. It's not going to say that, but it's kind of useful. It's a good check. Learning a lot from your tutorials, Stephen. Thank you very much. Karthikeyan, if I said your name right. Hi bro, thank you. Hello mate, how's it going? Yeah, if the data is public, then no worries. Yeah, the only grey area I really think is if you actually log into something and then get that data, because it's behind it. But even then, I don't know. Right, let's get back to this. Where were we? I've lost it now. I think I closed it by accident. Hang on. We were onto something then. Okay. Good place to start. Inspect, network tab, refresh the page, look at all of this and see if some of it pops up and is JSON data. Like these ones, you can see this is, these ones, it's hitting the API endpoint, and that's where the information for all of this data is going to pop up on the screen. So we want to make sure, we want to have a look and see if we can find some of this. I did find it a minute ago. It was in here, and I can't remember which of one of the requests it was. But if we look at it, make that a bit bigger so you guys can see, this is just the, if you get a load of JSON data, I just find this website and just paste it in. We can see it gives us a load of IDs, and then it gives us all the items, and we can see we've got a URI, which is like the actual URL that you go to, a description, entity type, drama, language, channel name, episode, all the information, it's all there, and the images and everything. So basically what we want to do is we want to, I don't think we need that one. Let's close the item IDs, close the items. Oh, it doesn't tell you how many there are. Sometimes it will tell you how many items there are. If it does, you can get a really good idea of your request as well. If I'm making amazing videos. Thank you, Otto, I appreciate that. It'll give you an idea of how many there are. We can see there's quite a few already, so this would be my first port of call now for this. So I just need to remember which which one it was. I think it was this one. Yeah, it's this one. So we've got it here. It's, we can see, I don't know if you can read that URL. It gives us like a long URL and it's telling us all the information. So what I would do is, I found it within a few. I told you, it's all about knowing how things can work and applying them. So when you get to learn to look at it and you go, I bet that information is coming from an API to this website and it's being loaded. So you just kind of get to the point where you can find that's coming from. I'll run through this. I'll just say the best thing I do is I always go to copy and I copy as curl curl, which is a Linux command. But what we can do, and I should have it, should have Postman installed. So we open up Postman, which is a program for hitting APIs. Serbian site. Hi Mario. Okay, that's cool. I'm going to finish off doing this one for now, but if you want to just put the name of the site in the chat, don't link it. I think it might block the message if you put a link, but just put the name of it. I might get a chance to look at it after I've done this one. Car ads, depending on how that works, because some of the advertising sites in the UK are really bad for scraping. They block you and they restrict you as much as they can. You put it, okay, above. Sorry, I can't see it, man. Can't see it. You just put it again for me. What's the difference between web scraping and web crawling? Crawling to me sounds more like indexing all the websites. Like I would say that the Google bot is a web crawler, the Yahoo bot is a web crawler. So it goes out and it just sort of feels all of the information from a website. So it crawls through every page and gets a good feel for what the site is about. And scraping to me is data extraction from the website. Okay, cool. So let's get rid of that one from an old video. So don't go new if you're using Postman, go import and then raw text. And this is where we paste in what our curl that we copied from here. So if we go continue, import, so we can see easily that it gives you all the headers that we're sending. And one of these ones probably is going to be some kind of auth. Yeah, so this is probably generated from our browser. So basically what this means is that when this sort of key token, what did I say token? This one. So when this token expires, we're not going to be able to do this again. What's this Postman? Okay, Postman is a program that we can use to send out requests to APIs and it brings data back. It's mainly used for, I think, for testing. So you could go out and you can like, right, let me test my API, and you can send a load of requests to it. But because it works like this, we can just import our curl and it splits all the information out. So you see here, we've got all these headers automatically split out for us and the parameters. We can see what information it's sending to that server, to the server, and we can replicate it. So I haven't changed anything, but if I hit send, we get back all of this JSON data, which is, I think we're on genre. I mean, okay, cool. But availability all, and it gives us all of the results for all of the information. So if we look, we've got all of these item IDs, and it gives us all the data back. So just looking at this quickly, I can see that we're obviously not getting all of the videos back for this because I don't think there's that many results in this list. If these IDs are anything to go by, maybe there is 20. But what you can do is you can play around with this and you can try and find the next bit. So sometimes the headers say like how many, or the parameters say how many results you can get. So all we have to do is convert it to XML or CSV. Yeah, pretty much. So what we can do, it's even easier than that, is that if we go, I think it's here, and we go, no, where is it? Send, save. One of these buttons around here, I forget which one. I'll find it in a minute. Don't remember everything. Where is it? There's a button somewhere that lets us export this. Here we go, code. It's there, code. So what it does is it lets us export this as Python code. So we can just copy this. So look, import requests. If we've done any web scraping, we know what this looks like. The URL, yeah, done that. Payload, doesn't send any payload. The headers, this is all the headers of the information that we're sending, which includes our user token that I just talked about. So make sure that this user token will expire at some point. But I'm sure there's ways that we could get around it. Maybe we could, if we were gonna do this every day, say we get to the point where we know exactly what information we want, and we're going to do it every day, maybe checking for new videos, which might be useful. Maybe you just want to build up a database of them. Is this live stream going to be uploaded? Yes, yeah. All this live stream will be uploaded to my channel after this. So don't worry about copying all of this down or anything. It'll all be there for you, so you can just flick through it. What was I saying? User token. Yeah, so this is generated by our browser. So what we could probably do is we could probably launch a browser in the background, get a token, fill it in with this, add it to these headers, and then get the data back every day. I think that would probably be the best port of call. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to copy all of this, and we're going to go to our code editor. We don't want any of this anymore because that's not the right approach. Payload is empty, so I'm just going to remove that. We don't need that. We're going to import JSON because the response is JSON, so we're going to need that. We're not going to print it. Headers are fine, the URL is fine. So I don't know why it does it this way. It gives you requests.requestGet, whereas we would normally just do request.get. I'm going to change that just for the sake of it. We go, data is payload. We didn't have anything in the payload, so I'm just going to remove that. Headers, cool. I'm going to change the response to R because it's quicker for me to type out every time. So let's do print, what is it? So we want to do data is equal to JSON dot loads, I think, r.json. I think this is right. I haven't done this in a little while. So if this works, we should get load S is for a string, I think. No. I have to remember. So I have some doubts. Can I help? Is it, yeah, go on. Doubts with what I'm doing now or something else? Rayman, you're my first best online. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Just trying to help, found something that I was interested in and thought I would share. Hang on, let me just embarrassingly Google how you load stuff into JSON again. Can't quite remember the exact syntax. I think I've done something wrong. JSON. Oh, there we go. I was trying to do too much in one go. So let's do, let's go back to our parser. So we're going to want to go through data, items, and then title. Okay, that should be fine. Okay. So let's do data, and it was items. Nope, data. Oh, that's interesting. I called it data, and it's data as well. And then items. And then let's pick the first one, and it was it title? Hopefully this works. No, key error 0. That's what comes after items. Can we not get the, oh, it's a dictionary, so we can't get the first one. Let's just check that what I'm doing is actually the right thing. Yeah. So what I've done is basically just copied the export from Postman by copying the just mimicking the request in mimicking the request the browser was doing to the server to get the data back, and that's it basically. Oh, we can collapse that to make it easier. So I'm going to move on to the something else now, but hopefully that's helped you, Anne. Once you've done this part, you're going to have all your JSON data stored in this variable, so you can then like just manipulate it however you like. And I've just basically zoned straight in on this title, but you could easily loop through it all and get all the titles. So I would do that and see where you get to. Maybe pull out the description as well, so you can see that. Cool. So that's pretty cool. I like that. Again, always websites like this, always go to that inspect network tab. XHR and fetch is the usual place. Give it a refresh and see if you can find where the JSON comes out. They normally look like this. You see how this one has got what's that, question mark in it. So that kind of gives it away a little bit. And you can click on it. If you go to response, it'll tell you what data is coming back. And if it looks like this, just copy and paste it into the parser, and you'll make it all nice and easy. You're gonna live stream often. What day and what timings? Well, I'll try and do it as much as I can. This is the first one, so we'll have to see how it goes. But yeah, I'll try and put in a day where I can come on and live stream, and we can just talk about scraping and maybe run through some examples. Yeah, right. So hopefully that's helped you. Let me know how you get on. Let me know if you manage to get all this data out and in a nice format for exporting. Okay, where was the next thing? Is Mario still here with the Serbian site with Karad? I don't think I saw the name of it, man. If you're still there, just plonk it in chat. How to download blob type of videos. I know the process using M3U8, but sometimes unable to find them. Okay. I'm not entirely sure what you mean by blob type of video. Can I make a Discord server? Yeah, I will. I'll definitely do stuff like that, but I think I just need to grow a little bit. Okay, cool. Thanks for the link. I think I just need to grow my channel and whatnot a little bit more before I create a Discord server, because otherwise, I mean, the amount of I just think it might be a bit small to start with. Okay, cool. Is this so we want to, okay, Volkswagen Touran diesel, nice. Is this the car that you want to buy? Hey, thanks for the stream. No worries, man. So let's say, obviously I don't under what about scraping pages with the capture solving? That's really hard. I don't really tend to go for capture solving. I think you can do it, but with things like Cloudflare and that, it's just a nightmare. All right, cool. Let's download a video from any website. Yeah, that's a bit more yeah, that can be done. It's a bit more difficult because you just need to find the URL for the actual link to the video. But sites like YouTube and that make it really difficult to do that because obviously they want to keep you on their platform. By the way, I checked out Discovery Channel's website. It doesn't give us JSON. Check out Discovery Channel. Okay, cool. What time is it? Yeah, I'll have a look at the Discovery Channel one next. So let's take this page then. Let's close some of these. We don't need these now. And let's say, I'll keep it bigger. Okay. Let's say we wanted to get the data from this page. As always, view page source. What I find quite useful is if you scroll down, you take something that's probably going to be unique kind of text and copy it. We can search for it in the source, and if it pops up multiple times, generally means that we can use request and beautiful soup to get the information. This one looks a bit more like, yeah, I've seen this before. I did a video on this actually. So if you look at the last thing we just did, we ended up with a load of JSON data. If you look at this, inside these script tags, this one and this one, it's got all the information. It's all there, so everything that's pasted to the page, so you can see the text HTML, the title, everything. It all kind of loads it up, and I don't know why it puts it here, but it does. I've got the left side of the table, but the right side is the problem. Which table? This, is it this bit or is it down here somewhere? Right side is the problem. Doesn't help that I can't and don't understand this language. This bit here, the Volkswagen Touran. Okay, cool. So that's actually right here. Look. Tell you what, we'll do the same thing again. That's it there. Let's just copy this for the moment and go back to our JSON parser. Oh, it failed. Unexpected token position 475. That's probably the end. It basically worked anyway. So we can see. Oh no, it didn't work. Okay. I copied down all sort of stuff. All right, let's see. Let's have another look. Let's have another go at it. No, it's definitely the right way. So I did a video about this before. Oh, there we go. That's why. Starts here at the ID. Let's try that. Select all, delete, paste. Cool. So we've got some fails. Looks all right. So we can see that this part of the source code is where all the information is. So what I've just copied out of there is the JSON, and right here is no, don't worry, didn't watch it. I don't expect you to have watched all my videos, man. Don't worry. So yeah. This is, again, I said this just a minute ago, but I don't know why they do this, but the data just gets dumped out in this script. The end of the page where it says that, okay. Can you scrape the phone number? Is the phone number not in here? What does the phone number look like? That's none of that, that's for sure. Oh, it's on the click event. Oh, right. Yeah, of course it is. Okay. Oh, that's going to be different then. What does it actually do when you click on it? No, on the bottom page. Oh yeah, I got you. Found it. Found it. There it is. Okay. So it's this class, and let's reload it. Yeah. Verify numbers. I see. That makes it a bit more difficult. So I don't think it's in here, is it? Let's have a look. I think it needs Selenium. Yeah, it might. I don't really like that approach because it's just really untidy to have to do all of that for one thing. Yeah. Let's see what happens when we go back to it. Oh, let's not call them. I don't think they'll appreciate that. Yeah, that's a bit more of a challenge, mate. The problem is it's because we need to activate this script. Yeah, I think that's kind of annoying because everything else is there and available. So we could literally, I mean, we could, with using this approach here, it's not quite right at the moment. We could basically just get most of the information out, and you could create a database of everything that's on sale that meets your search criteria, really. I wonder if, oh well, there you go. Some people put it in the advert. Yeah. I think, yeah, so this is a bit more difficult. So I guess you'd want to, if you really wanted that information, you'd have to load up a browser and then get it to click on this element here. You could get it to click right here on one of these and then get it to load up. Let's check this as well just to make sure we're not missing something. No, no, that looks like advertising. Yeah. Oh wow, that returned the whole code for this script. Well, that's interesting. I guess that's JavaScript, is it? Oh, it's Facebook. Well, that's interesting. I've not seen that before. Cool. That's yeah. So maybe that one that will probably need a bit more. I can have a look into that actually. That's quite interesting about how you would go about getting just that one bit of information that's hidden behind a click. I'll have a look into it, man. If I get a decent answer, then I'll put it up. It's a weird site. These sort of sites really are. I mean, that's purely because they want to stop bots getting the phone number, and it does a good job of that. Yeah. Which English accent are you using? Is a little bit hard for Asian. I am from the south of England, not far away from London. So I've got a southeast-ish accent. So if you can't understand me completely, I'll do my best to articulate my words better. Cool. Oh, there's a question up here I missed. If there is no ID and class is like this, how can we reach? If you've got a class, you should be able to hit it with the class. If you've got a class for the div, it should be nice and easy to get to it. Just paste the whole thing in there in the quotes and see if it works. Let's find the URL. Do you want to give me give me the URL for the website then, Sriram? And I'll have a quick look and I'll see if I can find an easier way. I haven't done much downloading of videos though. I tend to go for text data to build up databases or stuff like that. If you want to give me the URL, I'll have a quick look. So one thing that I did today, which I'm going to do a video on, which might be quite useful for you guys, is can you give me 5 minutes? Yeah, I'm going to stream for another hour or so, I think. I mean, if there's a space between the class names. So what library are you using to do that? That looks like request HTML div dot. I've not had a problem with spaces. I tend to go for it should match it anyway. Even with a partial match sometimes works as well. If you've got code somewhere and you want to upload it or to GitHub or something, or send me a link to your code, I can have a quick look if you want. If you've got it all written out and that part's not working. Yeah. So one thing that I've worked on. That I'm going to do a video about, hopefully it might be the weekend or it might be next week. So I've got 2 videos I'm working on at the moment. One is using Google Sheets as a database, so we can scrape and get our bot to put data into Google Sheets that we can obviously. Google Sheets is nice and easy to share with everybody, or it's a good place to store data online that you can access from anywhere. So that's quite cool. So I'm going to do a video where I scrape price information for a specific product just as a proof of concept, and then get that put into a Google Sheet. And we could then look at running that on a cron job every time to get that to run, like to get the price for the product every day, and then we could look at expanding that. When you copy the whole class name, request HTML gives me an error. Just wondering, are you active on Stack Overflow? I'm not. I use Stack Overflow for answers more than anything else. I don't post on that. If you want to link your question, then by all means, I'll have a quick look, see if I can help. So I've got the video downloading question. I'm waiting for the URL. Otto is after the class name. It's hard to diagnose that, mate, without having a look at your code. I haven't had any problems with it. If you try Googling the error and see what comes up, or if you've got your code somewhere, I can have a look. And Stephen, you want to link the question, your Stack Overflow question, I can try and help, as long as it's about Python and preferably web scraping. Otherwise, I might not be any help at all. So yeah, I've got the Google Sheets video that I'm working on, which should come out hopefully on Sunday evening. And then I've got another one which I actually used today in my day job. I had about 1,000 URLs that I needed to check, basically to see if they were active or live. But the problem is that for us, if they were closed, they would still have some information there, so I couldn't just use the response. So I had to basically go through 1,000 URLs and check by scraping the title or whatever came up, to see if it worked, to see if the status of the website was how we wanted it to be, whether it was open, closed, or passworded or whatever. So we can run that one after another with the for loop in Python. I'll open it. I'll show you actually. I don't mind. It's it's all going to come out anyway. Let's go, what do I call it? Excuse all of my badly named folders. I find the one I'm after. Oh yeah, speed up. Cool. There's going to be some hints into there as to future videos as well, but don't be too excited. Cool. So if I go to, I started working on this. Am I dealing with your talk? I was hoping you were going to send me a website to look at so I can see the thing. I'm not sure which website you're trying to do, and I'll tell you your message was retracted. So I don't know what you posted. So this is going to be my example. Basically, it pulls all the URLs from the CSV and gets the title for each page of the project. Now, this is similar to what I actually had to do in my job today or this week. YouTube. So that's going to be really difficult because it's really hard to get them. Do none of the YouTube downloaders work anymore? So if we have a quick look. Can you teach me how to scrape value in JSON in HTML site? That sounds like something I've done a video on before, if I understand you correctly. So yes, probably. when expect class, it says, how can I scrape the info? Can you not, are you getting an error when you put that class name in to search? If you are, I would take that error and see what that error says. How can we scrape multiple input from CSV? What do you mean exactly with that? Multiple input from CSV. So you got multiple CSV files that you want to input. What, like URLs or something? Cool. So if we go back here, if we go inspect, network, refresh the page. Yeah, nothing, anything. So all you get back is nothing basically. So if we go inspect again, find the video. So we've got, let's make this smaller. So we've got the source for something, that's the image. So we get the watch URL. So if you were going to do, I've done a video on YouTube before, you're almost better off not trying to download the videos. You're better off just getting the links to them, multiple URLs in a CSV. Yeah, of course. Can we know which club you support? From a Bayern fan. Yeah, I support Arsenal. Right, I'm just going to take a really, really quick break. I've supported all my life. All my life I've supported Arsenal, so I never change. I'm sure you feel the same way. Like your older brother. Yeah, cool. I'm just going to take a really, really quick break, and I will be right back in just a minute. Okay. Multiple URLs in a CSV. Yes, I'll cover that in a minute. You need to play the video to get the URL. Okay. Hopefully I don't get any copyright strikes playing any of these videos. Oh well, doesn't matter. So play the video. Oh, okay, I see. Source is a blob file. Okay, I get you. Even says no download in there. That's cool. So I guess what you would want to do is use probably request HTML, get your YouTube URL list from somewhere else. So you get the blob and you want to try and download that. I don't know if it lets you do that, does it? What happens when we do this? File was not found. Isn't available. That's interesting. Can you reflop? Yeah, I think the issue is actually getting to the video itself. I guess you could, for some websites it downloads. Yeah. Honestly, I wonder if YouTube have just got some really smart guys blocking all of this. They don't want people off their platform. But you want to check for these where the blob is there. Okay. So what I would do is take this page. You have to add watched. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. And after clicking on the inspect element, is there? So just to finish this one real quick, if you want to know if the blob is there, this source, you can load this page up with request HTML. You can find this element, this div class, then go into the video, and you can then specify and get this source, and it will give you that URL back. Help me scraping network elements after clicking on inspect, then network. Is there any way to download those text filtered by XHR? Yeah, so that's what I complete a video on multiple web scraping. Yeah, dude, I'm just gonna, yep, absolutely there will be. I'm just gonna cover that in a minute. I'm just gonna wrap this one up. If you want to stick around, I'll cover that in just a second. Yeah, so you could do that. If you wanted to get the network, elements from the network tab, I don't know if there's going to be anything here. Wow, it's just a load of rubbish. It's probably not the best website to do it on. If we go to this one. So you can see, like, on this one, if you go to response, it'll tell you what's come back when you sent this request. So the browser sent this one's setting, so just ignore the fact this is this one at the moment. We're just using it for an example. But this is you want to go to response, and this is what it's getting back. So if this is the information that you want, that's what we covered earlier with Postman. So you want to copy that request. Exactly, I want headers from the network tab. So if you want these headers from this, let's say that this is the one that you want and you want this information, then go ahead and go copy as curl. And then when we put it in, this is what we did earlier, when you put it into Postman in here, it gives you all the headers, and you can then copy this request out as code, and it gives you them all here. So this gives you all the headers for this request that we made. So you can just make this request in your code again, and you'll have all these headers. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Okay, so scraping multiple URLs. So let me see if I can open this up in a sec. What's it called? Book links. Hang on. I should really organise my folders better. I tend to just dump stuff in a single place. I can never find it again. Don't know where we are. I think we're in here. Nope. Okay, doesn't matter. We're going to talk through it anyway. It's fine. You want them through automation. Well, what you would want to do is you just want to make that request over and over again. So you need to find that to get the headers from the request, you need to make the request. So you're going to have to do that in your program anyway to make the request. And the headers go with the request when it's made, not or when they come back. So I guess you could make a request and then get the headers that come back. You could do that with requests. So you could just ask for the headers that come back. If you're using the requests library in Python, that'll work. Oh, I missed an A. Cool. Multiple URL scraping. So this is going to be my next. This is going to be my next video, or maybe the next but one. I'm just going to talk through this real quick. So this is basically opening up a CSV file that has a long list of URLs. This one's 1,000 URLs long. So we open that up and then we loop through every URL, send a request, and in this case, you can see we're asking for, in this function, we're just asking for the title because this is the URL for the books to scrape website, which is like the scraping practice one. Can't remember the URL. There we go. So this is the website to use if you're learning how to do scraping with requests and beautiful soup. So HTML tables, HTML scraping. None of this is dynamic. So this is more like beginner stuff. But if you're learning how to do that, then come to this website because it's got everything in it and it's great and you can find it all. Is there example text or elements present in my ID is the same way to get any header tab text present in the episode? I'm not sure. I don't think so because you're sending. So when you're looking in the header tab here, these are the request tab. Sorry, these are the headers that are sent with this specific request. So this specific request, this is a Twitter one, so we'll just look at this one instead. So this specific request to get this information had these headers. I'm not sure I totally understand your question actually. So this, because you can send multiple requests to the server. So if you don't send any headers, there's nothing to collect. Right. So what we do with this, this is a CSV file with about 1,000 links. We open it up and we loop through it, and for row in the CSV, so for every line in this CSV, and this is the first, so I've indexed it to get just the first column. So if your URLs were in the second column, you'd want a 1, or the third you'd want a 2, exactly, etc., because it's 0 index. And then we're appending it to a list. So what we're doing is the first thing we're doing here is we're opening this CSV and just creating a massive long URL list in Python without having to paste them all in here. So that's really useful. I did this in my day job today, or this week rather. I took a long list of URLs, all separate ones. I think it was about 890 or something. And I wanted to find out specific information from each and every individual one. How did you collect 1,000 URLs to CSV in the first place? That's a good question. I used Python and web scraping to get them. I did it for this example. In my job, I had them all saved into a file anyway. Let me see if I've got that. I should really store my stuff better. Hang on. That's actually quite interesting, actually. That's not a bad question. We can have a look at how I got these URLs in the first place. That's probably quite handy. It's in here somewhere. Let me just double check this. Yeah, there we go. Oh, go away. So this is what I did. Ignore that it's not working yet because I've loaded it in the wrong place. So all I did was I took, it goes back. I took the main URL and I created a for loop, empty list, for loop for X in range. I know there's 50 pages. So we wanted to go up to 51 because we go up to 51, but not including 51. There's 50 pages. Where is it? Yeah, page 1 of 50. Because I knew how many there were and all I wanted was some specific information, I didn't need to do any error handling. There was no need to. And what I did is I sent a request using an F string. So every time this loop goes through for X in range 1 to 51, we do R is equal to request, and then we use the F string to put the X in here, and this is our X. So we go X in range. So every number this goes through, so range 1 to 51 starts at 1, 2, 3, 4. So every time we do that, we put the page number in here in the URL. That's a nice and easy way to do it. If you're doing pagination, you can see up here, I don't know if you can, the URL doesn't have anything afterwards, but if you go next page, we can see it does. It goes to -page-2, which is what I've got here. And if we change that 2 to a 1, it goes back to page 1. We change the 1 to 50, it goes to the end. So that's nice and easy. And then I just went through and found the article in the class of product pod, which is where the information is. Let's have a look. View page source. That's not the best option. Let's just do inspect. See, it's all in this article. So each one of these is an article, and within that I just took the first A and got the link there. Find all article class, and then for item and article find the A, and we'll append it to the link list. So because the link to the page was just the end, so it had the like the short link, I just had to add a string here. So basically I ran this and I got all of the 1,000 links to all of the individual items on this website. So this will work for any this approach will work for any website where it loads up the HTML. You can use Request and Beautiful Soup. You can do all of this stuff. You can just go and absolutely get all of the products or anything like that. It's really handy. I've got a good video on that actually of scraping ecom products. So if you're interested, look through my channel and find that. It's pretty cool. So when I've got this, I saved it all to CSV. I didn't show you that part. I saved it all to a CSV file. Now I'm going to open the CSV file and loop through it and add each of them back to the URL list in this script. And then we just created a little function to go through it and go through each and every single URL. So we take our function, which I call transform. You pass the URL in, which is from the URLs list, which is being created by this. And then we go out and we do our normal request, our normal soup, and then get the title and append the title to the list. And then we just return out of our function. I had a print title in here just because it was easy to see it all. So let's go to, I think I moved my files around. Booklinks.csv. Let's put this in here. Bear with me 1 second. Paste. Cool. So if we do, let's go. Okay, so we've got our book links in there now. So if we do, if we run this, which I've called, what have I called it? Title standard. Great name. Make sure you name your files properly. If we do time, free title standard. So it's going to run through it, all of those URLs, and you can see we're running through every single one individually. So our code is doing one, then the next one, then the next one, then the next one, then the next one, and the next one, and the next one. Oh, we stuttered. There we go. and it's kind of slow, as you can see. So this was what, 1,000 or so. How do you use Xpath with BS4? I don't think you can use Xpath with BS4. I think it yeah, I don't think it does it. I think to do Xpath you need to be using something else. I'm not sure about the headers thing, man. I don't know the answer to that, I'm afraid. You just want the request URL in the headers tab. Yeah, I don't know. I've showed you the ways that I know. I don't know if that's any useful to you or not. Maybe have a look around, Google some stuff, I don't know. How do we scrape multiple websites for the same fields, name, email, using a single spider? Well, so that you can. It depends how the structure of the sites is set up. This is the problem with web scraping, because if people change the way that they set up their websites, your scrapers will fail, and it's really quite difficult. Someone asked about Scrapey app here. Oh yeah, same guy, Janjat. Could you please make a video on cross-spider scraping in detail? There are basic videos out there. Yeah, so Scrapey is definitely on my list of things that I want to do videos on. The only problem is that right now I've got a decent understanding of it, and I have used it. The problem is that I feel like I want to learn it a bit more, so I can actually bring something useful to you guys, as opposed to just the same stuff that's already online. I think Scrapey is really powerful though, but you still have the same problems. It's still just a framework. It's just a framework for web scraping. So any of the problems that we have with scraping now, it's the same. And if you're making a basic web scraper like the ones I'm just doing now, you don't need Scrapey. There's no need. It's too much stuff. What terminal are you using on Windows? I'm using the Windows terminal you download from the store. I forget what it's called. Windows Terminal, the app from the store, and I'm using on Windows subsystem for Linux, which is Ubuntu 20.04, and this actual shell is ZSH, oh my ZSH, this. If you want to have it looking like this, Google this, just Google that. Oh my ZSH WSL, I'll show you. There's a really cool article right at the top of the search. I think it was this guy. Yeah, this guy shows you how to do it all and how to make your Windows terminal looking really cool. I followed one of those ones. I think maybe this one as well. So do that. Yeah, see, this looks pretty sweet. I didn't go for the background one though; it's too distracting for me. Yeah. So Google that, and you can make it look like this. I use the WSL all the time. I'm familiar with the basic Linux commands. I got quite used to it. If you're not used to basic Linux, definitely take some time to learn it, because the vast majority of the web is on Linux. So if you ever get as far as working with actual web servers, the majority of them are on like Ubuntu server or something like that. So it just makes your life so much easier. And if you can face it, learn how to use the basics of Vim. You don't need to if you're just using Windows for the moment, but when you get to using the Ubuntu server, or wanting to run your scripts online, which is a cool thing to do, you'll need to know some Linux, and Vim is on almost all the Linux installations as a default, a basic text editor. So yeah. Cool, so where were we? So yeah, you can see this one ran, and to do 1,000 URLs it took 2 minutes, which is quite long. If you imagine that maybe we had 30,000, then that's going to take forever. But what you can do is, if I get rid of this one, if we look at this instead, we can use, if I compare the two, I'll get the text the same size, hopefully. Yeah. So with this one, we can see we've just got our basic will your whiskey product scraping method work on WordPress Woocommerce? Yes, most likely. I've done WordPress. I've done Woocommerce scraping before, so some of the actual like little details will be different, but it does work. Shall I elaborate? I've done my best, man. I've tried to answer. You want the request URL in the headers tab? I don't know is the answer, I'm afraid. I'm not sure I can help you anymore. Yeah, sorry, I don't know if I can help you anymore with that question. It's kind of it's a bit more difficult, I think. So this is basically getting a preview to one of the upcoming videos. But in here, if we look at the differences, we've got the same function that we wrote, transform, but we're actually using a thing called Concurrent Futures, which is basically default. It's in the standard Python library, and what it does is it kind of it lets us do jobs concurrently, which basically means more at the same time. So if you think about when we are, yeah, sorry I couldn't help, mate. I tried. Hopefully you get an answer, and if you do, let me know, because I'd be interested to know. I was absolutely beginner for Python. That's cool, man. We all start somewhere. We're all learning. I'm still learning Python, so we're all learning it. It never ends. It never ends. Concurrent Futures is like, yeah, so we can get it to do things concurrently. So we can get it to run multiple like parts of jobs or parts of our scripts at the same time. So if you think about when you send a request to a server, we send an HTTP request, and we wait for the server to see it, we wait for the server to get it, and then respond, and we get the data back, and then we do something with it. So we're spending an awful lot of time, our code is spending an awful lot of time just sat there waiting. So, I mean, it makes no sense to sit there and wait. I just showed you it took 1,000 URLs, took 2 minutes and all we were doing was getting one piece of information. So our code has basically just wasted so much time in that. But we can use Concurrent Futures and the thread pool executor to basically manage all of the threads on our computer, maximize them, and make sure that that they're all doing something at the same time. That's the best way to describe it. So it kind of like, it's hard to explain. It basically lets us do multiple things at the same time. There's a few different ways you could do that. Actually, you can use multi-processing as well, which like lets you use all the cores in your processor, which is cool if you've got loads of spare cores in your home PC or whatever. But if you're using like a shared web hosting or your Linux server, you might only have a few available, so that's not really going to speed it up loads. But if we run the same thing, I'm going to run this this code as well. So we've got this one, 2 minutes 10. So if we do clear, and let's do time again and the time only works in Linux, by the way. This won't work in the Windows PowerShell. Concurrent scraper, that should work. Bam! See, it already looks quicker. We're doing exactly the same thing. We're getting exactly the same information, but what it's doing is it's just we've told our code to use the thread pool executor to maximize the available processing power that we have on our CPU. So we can already see that's finished already, 1,000 in 18 seconds, and we used 88% of our CPU. This one, doing it one after the other, 2 minutes 10 seconds, and we only used 11% of our CPU. So I mean, with this, doing it this way, one after the other, we've just wasted so much processing power and taken so much longer just to do the same thing. So what you've just seen now is going to be a video on my channel probably next week. I'll explain it a bit better and go into a bit more detail, and we'll run through all of this, and I'll explain this a bit better as well. But it's quite cool, it's quite interesting. How do you contact me? If you go onto my YouTube, you can email me. I can put it in here actually, it's fine, I don't mind. That's my email address. I do my best to get back to everybody as much as I can. Yeah, so please explain Xpath. Xpath not working in Chrome, but not in Selenium. So Xpath is it's just like a way of targeting down on the specific elements. It's interesting you say it's working in Chrome but not in Selenium. So if you're using Selenium, Selenium will just control Chrome for you. So try, let's have a look at some examples. We can use this, you can use this website, it doesn't make a difference. So if we go here and I'm in Chrome, if you go copy, you got Xpath and full Xpath. Concurrent Futures and threading modules, how they're different. Threading is, it works in a very similar way, but using Concurrent Futures, it manages it all for you. So threading is kind of just like, you can tell it how many threads to use and whatnot. But if you use the futures thing, it will manage it all for you nicely, and it will actually kind of creates a new instance of everything that you do and keeps it available, so you can actually work with it as well. As opposed to just threading, where threading would just be, these are the things I want to do on these threads, do them now. Whereas concurrent futures are, here's all my jobs, this is what we need to do, which was, I didn't show you that bit, which was, there's our transform, which is our function, URLs. Here's the things we need to do with these. Go ahead and do them, and it manages it all for us. Can I make a video in the future with a little bit of using Regex while scraping? Yeah, I can do. Regex is not something I've used a lot while scraping, actually. I know you can do. I know. Yeah, I know you can really like get the information out that you're after with that. I've not done that so much before. I do know Regex a bit. I tend to just use the online, the ones that just sort it out for you. Cool. So Xpath. If we look at this, we go copy. What did I do? Copy Xpath. We can use one of these just to paste it in. So we can see that it's quite a long one, but they should all start off like this. The fact that this got this afterwards could cause us some problems. Thanks for the help. It's nearly 1 AM here in India. No worries, man. Hopefully you found some of this useful. Sorry I couldn't answer your question exactly. 1 AM. I hope you're good at getting up early, or you're going to get a nice lie in. Because yeah, thanks for coming, man. Cheers, Ram. Bye. So this, looking at this with this afterwards, it kind of, I don't really like that so much, because this is the standard sort of Xpath thing, because it's going looking for the ID of default. I guess this is because there are lots of them there. So you can do that, or if you go full, I wonder if full Xpath looks different. Yeah, so that's just like basically going all the way down into the thing. Hope you do give us more helpful. I will do. I've got loads of video ideas in my head. They're all just rolling around in there. I just need to get down and do them. I'm sure you guys are really going to like them. Whilst a few of you guys are here, actually, my most popular ones have been dynamic scraping videos. I guess that's because the way the web is now, everything's kind of dynamically loaded. I was thinking I might do some more, like just take different websites and just scrape them, as opposed to actually doing, oh, this is this specific part. I thought I might do like a weekly video where I literally, you guys can just watch me scrape the website, and I'll edit it so it's not hours long if I'm working. But I thought that might be quite useful, because sometimes when you're working through, you kind of come up against different challenges or whatever, or scraping through dynamic. Yeah, exactly. Facebook scraping. I've never scraped Facebook, actually. I try and stay away from Facebook, to be honest. I could have a look into it. The best tutorial, thank you. Yeah, cool. That's why we're here. Yeah, so if you're struggling with Xpath, try the full Xpath or try the not full one. I find it hit or miss sometimes. I don't always like it. Sometimes I prefer the CSS selector. If we go copy selector, see, even that's pretty untidy. Sometimes they're better than that. Maybe if we go one down, let's go to the actual href. Let's have a look at the selector for this. Yes, it's pretty untidy. I find it easier to go to the to actually use the HTML if we can. Please make one video on that blob type of videos. Yeah, I'll have a look into it. It's interesting. I'll have to look around and see if I can find some information. But I'll have a look and see if I can do something with the videos, because that'd be quite cool to be able to do that. The only thing with YouTube is that there is a YouTube API, and though obviously the devs will try and funnel you into using that if you want to make any changes or you want to do stuff with your video. I don't know if you saw that video where people are going around and changing the title of the video to how many views it's had. That's all done through the API. And if you're interested in Python, web, and all of that, or anything, or making a career out of it, you need just learn how to use APIs and learn how to connect things together with APIs. You'll be able to do it. Create Xpath in Chrome. It's reach on element. Meanwhile, find one of one, but when write code, it's empty string. That's interesting. I might have to look at your actual code for that instead. Not quite sure. Is R better than Python for scraping? I don't think so. I have limited experience with R, but I feel like R is quite old now. Apparently, I think Python's perfect for scraping. I think Python's great for everything, to be honest, but apparently JavaScript is really good for scraping now with Puppeteer. There's, what's the guy's name? Shit, I can't remember his name. There's a guy on YouTube that does a lot of scraping with JavaScript. I just happen to know Python, so that's what I use. I've never bothered to learn any other languages, really. I mean, I know I can work with a few more, and once you understand one, you can kind of understand the rest, but I don't know all the syntax and the important. But apparently JavaScript is quite good for it. I think if depends what your end goal is. I'd still probably say Python's probably one of the better languages to learn still. Because with Python, you've got access to a lot of different things. You've got access to web scraping for one, if you wanted to go down that path, or if you want to make websites, you've got Flask to make fully functional web apps, and you've got Dash, which is a framework for making what are called interactive dashboards with data. So if you're doing anything data-wise, I'd say Python's still the best way. I think if your aim is just to learn a language to get a job, maybe find the job that you want and work back from that. If it's JavaScript, then maybe that's a good idea. Cool. So that's about an hour and a half. So I think I'm going to end it there. I think this has been pretty successful for the first live stream. So thank you to, you're going to start doing videos on Flask Hobby, Scrape and Display. Yes, I am. I like Flask. I want to make, yes, I am. I like Flask. I want to take data and I want to make it turn it into something useful. It's kind of what I do in my day job, but not specifically that. So yeah. There will be videos like that coming up. I'll have to work on it a bit more. But yeah, so I'm going to end it there. So thank you to everybody that stopped by, asked loads of questions, which was really cool, kept me really busy. I was worried that I was going to be sat here doing either staring at the screen or not very much. But you guys have been really interactive and really cool. And thank you for asking so many good questions. There are going to be lots more videos to come on my channel, primarily web scraping for now, because I feel like I've still got more to contribute on that topic, and then we might move on to other Python related things as we go forwards. I think this stream has been pretty successful, so I will aim to do another one. If I can get it down to one a week, that would be really cool, but it just depends on how much time I've got free at the moment. So yeah. Thank you very much for stopping by, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Next video is going to be out on Sunday evening. I've almost finished that. and then I'm probably going to go back to weekly after that, but we'll see. My ideal goal is to have a proper tutorial instructional video on a Sunday where we go through a topic and we look at it and we create ourselves a web scraper that works, and then one in the midweek where we just sort of look at something a bit more specifically, so like the concurrent futures I just talked about. So that video will probably come out next Wednesday. The Google Sheets, scraping to Google Sheets as a database, will come out on Sunday, assuming I don't encounter any more time problems that I've been having recently, but that should come out on Sunday. And then going forward, main video on Sunday evening, and I'd like to stick a live stream in there if I can. But thank you very much for coming, sticking around, asking questions. Cheers guys, bye bye.